meat lover. He came in, he was like, oh, this guy, you a meat lover.
But Tank would never even think about hesitating to come up to 154.
All right, what about 47 though?
Yes, if he get to pick his opponent. If Tank get to pick his opponent, he would do it. But Tank would never come from 35 to 54.
Y'all got into it on social media around that time. Y'all was doing the back and forth. Is that just you being competitive, like when that happens, or is it like...
I just really don't like that dude.
Why though?
Cause I just don't like him. Like I really don't like him. I don't like.
Just not your cup of tea. That's just not your.
I don't like nothing about him. No, I don't like nothing about him. I just feel like he just one of these little arrogant little dudes that's using what he got to shield him. Like he got a lot of security guards around him, and he know. He's in the limelight and stuff like that, but in certain situations, he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter, though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
I respect him as a fighter.
Yeah.
He definitely got skills, he got power, he got tremendous boxing ability, but like his core personality and his ways, nah.
Terence Crawford has criticized Gervonta Davis in a live interview after new rigging allegations. Moreover, Bud is stating he doesn't like Tank and believes Davis hides behind his power and fame. Crawford suggested that Davis uses his influence to protect his status, even going as far as fixing fights and influencing decisions to maintain his position in boxing.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be great, he can be like all the other fighters that's moving up 2 weight classes and daring to be great.
You would fight him,
man. Tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin, so tell him to come and touch it.
Wow,
man.
Gervonta said you got a glass.
He said I got a glass chin. Tell him to come and touch it.
At 147?
At 147. I'll make 147 for him.
Ooh, see, oh, man.
You're going to have a pre-camp.
Then what the people going to say? Oh, he's beating up on little guys.
Terence Crawford mocked Gervonta Davis, challenging his credibility as a true fighter. He stated that Davis truly dares to be great. He should step up and fight him. Crawford's remarks questioned Davis's willingness to take on tough opponents, implying that he avoids real challenges to protect.
Hater, if you don't know me as a person, let's say you don't like me, you don't know me, you feel me? And I don't give a everybody including Will.
Terence Crawford expressed his frustration on social media, stating, "They robbed that boy." And it's crazy his reaction underscores the widespread controversy surrounding the fight's outcome and the growing belief that Lamont Roach Jr. was unfairly denied victory. Many fans and analysts share Crawford's sentiment, arguing that the judging and officiating favored Gervonta Davis despite questionable moments in the fight. The decision has fueled ongoing debates about corruption in boxing and the influence of big-name fighters. Crawford's statement reflects a broader frustration with the sport's integrity and the perception that Roach was unfairly treated. Dant Davis responded to Terence Crawford's criticism by dismissing him as a hater. Davis questioned how Crawford could make such strong statements about him without knowing him personally. He expressed frustration over Crawford's remarks, suggesting that they were baseless and unfair. Davis implied that people often judge him without understanding his character, adding to the ongoing tension between the two.
I just don't watch boxing anymore because Lamont Roach versus Gervonta Davis. Are we being so fucking serious right now? Boxing is strictly for a check now. It's just all about getting a check. They're going to be fake fighting. They're going to probably fake fight 12 rounds so they get the max amount of money. Gervonta Davis said he was going to retire after this so he could get...
Okay, now it's the Jig's turn to talk. Let's talk about it. Is Gervonta Davis fighting Roach, or is Roach fighting Tank for a check? Absolutely, I'll give it to him. He's not going to win this fight. Fuck it. And as much as guys seem like I hate Tank, which I really don't, you would think I would agree with her on some aspects of her argument or point, statement, whatever the fuck you want to call this bull. And we get it. His resume is absolute ass. His resume is shit. We get that. And this is the thing about Tank. Bombs are going to drop from the sky. Bombs are going to hail from his hands. Leather is going to be thrown. and there's going to be a 93% chance you're in the danger zone, and there's going to be a 100% chance that if you're in that danger zone, that bitch is going to hurt. There's nothing fake about this left hand Frank Martin caught. He happened to be one of the 93%, and he felt that mother.
After the controversial outcome of the Lamont Roach versus Gervonta Davis fight, many fans have expressed deep disappointment, claiming that boxing no longer feels like a legitimate sport. Many believe that fights are now rigged, particularly high-profile ones involving big names like Gervonta Davis, where the outcome appears predetermined. Critics argue that the entire 12-round match was manipulated, and Davis knew the result before stepping into the ring. This belief has led to serious backlash, with fans questioning the credibility of boxing as a whole.
Davis has finally established himself as the biggest duck in boxing. There's always been a debate, we throw Brian Norman in there, we throw Canelo in there, then we got Tank, we have the top 3 pound-for-pound ducks. Tank has went head and shoulders above everybody else. He's become the undisputed pound-for-pound #1 duck in boxing. Yesterday, he had his press conference with Lamont Roach. He spoke about Shakur Stevenson. Let's take a look at it. So someone asked him about a Shakur fight. He immediately dismissed it. He said, and I quote, "For what? What has Shakur done? What has he done in the sport? He hasn't done nothing. Keyshawn Davis is looking way better than him, and Keyshawn hasn't even done nothing." I'm afraid of what? For us fighters to be afraid of someone, it has to be someone who's hitting us and hurting us. He doesn't have no offense. Everything is defense. Defense only wins in basketball and football. That shit don't win in boxing. So this is a clear, obvious duck. The whole, what did you win, whatever. Shakur has won way more than Tank has won in his career. He's a 3-division unified champion, and he's actually fighting at his 3rd division where Tank isn't. And like I said, he's a unified champion. He's a silver medalist. So he's accomplished objectively more than Tank. Let me just get this right. You're not afraid of Shakur because he can't hurt you. He can't punch. And he's only defense. But you're not going to fight him. So if Shakur can't hurt you, if Shakur stands no chance, he hasn't done anything, he's some type of bum, but he's one of the biggest money fights you can take, why not just knock him out? Just make it look easy since he's such a bum, since he hasn't done anything and he can't hurt you. Just go in there and knock him out. The same way you made this Lamont Roach fight happen so quickly, same way you made Frank Martin, Hector Luis Garcia, all these other guys, Rolly Romero, Isak Cruz happen. Make Shakur happen. He'll take it in a heartbeat. Just go in there, stop him, take your $40-50 million check and just be gone with it. But he knows that won't happen. He knows more than likely Shakur would outpoint him about 9-3, 8-4. You guys let me know. Do you think Tank is obviously he's the #1 duck in boxing. Do you think he's an all-time great?
A significant criticism against Gervonta Davis is that he actively avoids facing top-tier opponents who can truly challenge him. Many claim that Davis cherry-picks his fights, ensuring that he only competes against opponents he knows he can beat. This has been evident in his reluctance to grant a rematch to Ryan Garcia, dodge a potential fight with Terence Crawford by avoiding fighters who could expose his weaknesses. Davis is accused of manipulating his career to maintain an undefeated record, rather than proving himself against elite competition.
A knee mid-round, and the referee acts like it didn't even happen. And Tank's excuse was, "Oh, I got grease in my eye." It does not matter. You took a voluntary knee. That should be a 10-8 round. And again, the referee just acts like it was no big deal. And you probably had grease in your eye because Lamont Roach Jr. knocked the grease in your eye. Boxing is a beautiful sport. I love boxing. I have been watching boxing since before I could even talk. But it is the most corrupt sport in the world. And there truly is not a second place that's even close. They ended up scoring this fight a draw, which was BS even without the knockdown. But with the knockdown, this should have been a clear victory for Lamont Roach Jr. Just actually embarrassing for the sport of boxing. But everybody will wake up tomorrow. Everything will go back to normal. Nobody will care until the next robbery happens. It's just, it's old. It really is. But that's boxing for you. What can you do?
Terence Crawford did not hold back his frustration over the referee's decision during the Davis versus Roach fight. He took to Twitter to call out the controversial ruling, stating, "I never seen someone take a knee, and they don't count it as a knockdown. Must have forgot the rules for tonight." Crawford's words reflect the widespread disbelief over how boxing officials handled the fight, further fueling speculation that the match was rigged. His comment adds to the growing number of voices calling for stricter officiating and more transparency in major boxing events. The decision to not count Davis's knee as a knockdown has sent shockwaves through the boxing community. Such a ruling is unprecedented, leading many to argue that boxing has become a joke. In boxing history, taking a knee has always been considered a knockdown. Yet Davis was granted special treatment. Many believe that his influence and power within the sport allowed him to bypass standard rules. If this trend continues, boxing could lose credibility as a fair competition, as rules appear to change depending on the fighter and
Before the action begins, so the clock hasn't started, the punches aren't being exchanged, and he goes, "Referee, I have a problem," and takes a knee in that moment. The referee can address it. Well, the round hasn't started. What's going on with you? You've had your minute. What's going on? A bit of grease has gone into my eye, referee. I can't see. Okay, hold it. Get in. Clean his eye. Boom. Sound. Everything good. You can't do that mid-round. If you do that mid-round, especially after Roach has just landed a jab, for all we know, what if one of his knuckles just went straight into the eye? It was only a daft range-finding jab, but what if the knuckle or the thumb went into Gervonta Davis's eye? Maybe it pushed that little innocuous jab, maybe it pushed the eyelashes under his eyelid so he couldn't see. He was blurred in that eye. Maybe in that second he couldn't open his eye. He panics, he takes a knee, runs to the corner, can't see out my eye. They get a towel, stroke it back. You can't do that. I'm sorry, this is a fight. You can't do that. You can't clean, without the referee saying, come in and clean his eye. You can't clean his eye without the referee stopping the fight. The fighter can't stop the fight. Steve Willis's initial instincts were dead right. He should have said, what are you doing? I had something in my eye. I'm going, oh, fuck. I've got to take a point off. He hit you with a jab. You took a knee and he walked away. You weren't defending yourself. I have to take a point off. And in that moment, Steve Willis had to take, I'm sorry, mate. I don't give a fuck whose show it is. Come with me, stay there. Point off.
Davis attempted to justify his knee by claiming he had grease in his eyes preventing him from seeing clearly. However, boxing experts quickly dismissed this excuse, stating that if Davis had such an issue, he should have alerted the referee before the round started instead. Davis chose to take a knee in the middle of the round, which goes against official boxing protocol. The experts emphasize that in a professional fight, a boxer cannot simply do whatever they want.
Tank Davis doesn't like hard fights. It's that simple. We've seen it over and over. He fought a Ryan Garcia drained. He fought a very inexperienced Rolly Romero. He will not fight Devin Haney. He will not fight Shakur. He will not fight Pitbull Cruz again. He will not fight Lamont Roach again. He will not fight Tefimo. He will not fight Ino. He will not fight those guys. That's just not.
As for a rematch, it remains uncertain if Gervonta Davis will agree to fight Lamont Roach Jr. again. Many believe that Davis is actively avoiding tough fights, which is why a rematch has yet to be confirmed, just as he has not granted Ryan Garcia a rematch. There is growing speculation that Davis may never fight Roach again.
Didn't get what the decision I want, but we didn't get a loss either, so I felt like I won it, the last couple rounds, so it's cool. Lamont is a great fighter. Hopefully I can get that rematch because I know what I can do in a fight, but it's cool.
Okay, questions?
Okay. Tank, it's KG with Fight Hype. I wanted to ask Tank, when the decision was read, the way that you reacted, it looked like you was upset. You slammed your gloves on the canvas. What was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
I didn't slam my glove on the canvas.
Okay, maybe I mistook from my vantage point, so that's my mistake. But what was going through your mind when you heard the decision?
Nobody like a draw, from a guy that get knockouts and things like that, but it's cool. I feel like if we fight again, I could do more, and I should have did more. I was lost in I lost track in the rounds.
Even after the controversy, Gervonta Davis remained dismissive of the backlash. In a post-fight press conference, Davis claimed that he thought he won the fight and defended his decision to take a knee. He reiterated that he didn't know he could be disqualified for it, further diminishing the seriousness of the situation. To make matters worse, Davis laughed about the whole incident, treating it as a joke. Many saw this as a blatant disregard for boxing rules, reinforcing the belief that he receives preferential treatment in major fights.
That was a knockdown, without a doubt. You can't spin it no other way. It's too clear. And I think the commission needs to do something about it because it can give me an incentive, anytime I'm not feeling good in a fight, take a knee.
Well, they said
and that's not a shot at Tank. I respect Tank and I like Tank a lot. But you can't do that shit.
They reversed the result of your fight.
Yeah.
Should they reverse the result of that fight as well?
Just depends. Like if that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach a victory, give him the victory. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right, to keep the integrity of the sport. So I feel like if you're gonna do it to me, you got to do it to everybody.
Featherweight champion Shakur Stevenson also shared his thoughts, stating that Lamont Roach Jr. had greater control throughout the fight. Stevenson highlighted Roach's strategy and ring generalship, which allowed him to dominate several rounds.
I was in front of this guy, so it was this, but styles make fights. And I know that Tank is shorter, he's fast, but Lamont got good defense. And I just knew exactly how that fight was gonna go. I told everybody that Lamont was gonna be the one pushing forward, Tank was gonna be the boxer, and it literally looked exactly how I thought it was gonna look.
How did you see the actual fight? Like, let's break it down, because you was ringside. You sat. I saw you on Twitter. They showed the videos of you ringside. What did you see in the fight?
Shit, I kind of seen Lamont winning. I really felt like he was in control of the fight. I think Tank had good moments, but I feel like when he was boxing boring, he was more so in control. That's when he was kind of like in control of the fight for me. And when he kind of like
Lightweight star Ryan Garcia weighed in on the controversy, arguing that Davis's knee should have been counted as a knockdown. Garcia pointed out that in boxing, taking a knee is a clear rule violation, and there was no justification for the referee overlooking.
I thought beating him on the inside, making him miss, putting offense behind defense after making him miss, being more active. Obviously, Tank's going to have the edge in power. Tank is going to have the edge in power strikes. I think ultimately the stats spoke to that. I don't think that this was a disaster. I think it'd be strong to call it a disaster. The fight was not great up front. The fight was not great in the middle, but it was very good. Not amazing, but definitely very good down the stretch. I think we can all agree with that. The results are fair. I think they're fair. I think 115, 113 in either direction is probably okay. For Lamont Roach, his stock goes up, I think, a significant amount, given how he was able to push Tank, land on Tank, make this the toughest fight of Tank's 31 pro fight career by far. I think he did himself a lot of favors. What are we going to do with Tank Davis now? I mean, it's not like he looked bad. Some of you guys had pointed out he might have had an injury somewhere around that 6th round. He didn't mention it to BC, but that...
Shakur Stevenson also shared his thoughts, stating that Lamont Roach Jr. had greater control throughout the fight. Stevenson highlighted Roach's strategy and ring generalship, which allowed him to dominate several rounds.
Roach said yesterday that Tank Davis ain't paid him his $250,000 yet, because they made a bet on camera, shook hands, $250,000 that Tank Davis would knock Lamont Roach out. Pay that man his money or double the bet in the rematch. And if he doesn't want to double the bet, Tank, pay that man his money. Can't be out here betting, bro. You was highly confident you would stop him. You didn't get the job done. If you just as confident you'll stop him in the rematch, double the bet. If you're not, pay that man his money. It's that simple for me, bro. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Should Tank Davis pay Lamont Roach, or should he re on his bet? Real ones know the right answer to that question. Let me know your comment. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. We'll see y'all soon.
Renowned combat sports analyst Luke Thomas praised Lamont Roach Jr. for his performance, particularly since he moved up from a lower weight class to challenge Gervonta Davis despite this disadvantage. Roach managed to put on an impressive display. Ariel Helwani shared his thoughts on the fight, describing it as satisfactory but far from exceptional. He pointed out that Davis taking a knee should have been ruled a knockdown, reinforcing the belief that the fight was rigged in Davis's favor. Adding to the controversy, it has been reported that Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. had agreed on a $250,000 bet before the fight. The agreement stated that if Davis failed to knock down Roach, he would owe Roach the amount Lamont Roach. That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.